Hello everybody, today we're doing a video for GTA Car Kits, and today we're going to be showing you how to install this Android stereo in a Subaru BRZ, and it would be the same installation for a Toyota FRS. This Android stereo features a modern IPS display. You're still able to do things like phone calls, radio and Bluetooth music, but once you pair this phone to the hotspot, you're able to do Google Maps and Waze with live traffic updates. Same with Spotify, and you can download a bunch of apps from the Play Store, like we have here the weather widget. This unit also supports Apple CarPlay and AndroidAuto, so we're gonna quickly demonstrate it. So we're gonna connect it to our iPhone and go to the Apple AutoPlay app. It will work if you have the optional dongle installed on this stereo. As you can hear, it's playing music from my iTunes, so you're able to do standard Apple CarPlay stuff. And it will be same if you just switch the cable to Android cable, and it will be a standard Android Auto. So now we're gonna show you how to install the stereo in this particular car. So the tools you're gonna need is a 10mm socket with an extension. You're gonna need a panel removal tool, some sort of hook removal tool, pliers, and a Phillips screwdriver. So we're gonna start with our panel removal tool, the red one, and we're gonna remove this panel around the radio. So I'm gonna start from this corner. And you can just go around. Just like that. As you can see, there's just held by clips on the back. So now over here you're gonna see two 10mm bolts on this side and two on this side. So now we're gonna go ahead and use our 10mm socket with an extension to remove it. And make sure the lower bolts that you're careful and you don't drop them inside. There's no space for them kind of to go, but still kind of hold them with your finger. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove them. So now that we removed the four 10mm bolts, they look like this. Now we're gonna remove the radio. Simply grab it and pull it out. So now we're gonna go ahead and disconnect all the connections at the back. Here you can use a flathead screwdriver to press on the clip. So every clip, you just press on it and it comes off. So also when you pull out the stereo, make sure that you don't drop it down and damage your gear selector, as it's sharp and has metal edges. Just like that. So now on this radio, we're gonna go ahead and remove the brackets. So you gotta remember this, where the right hand side is and the left hand side. And now we're gonna go ahead, so you're simply gonna use a Phillips screwdriver, which we showed you earlier. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the brackets, and then we're gonna show you how to install them on the new Android stereo. So now that we removed the brackets, so right hand bracket will be closer to the passenger and left hand will be closer to the driver. So we mentioned earlier that you need pliers. This is to kind of modify the brackets. We're just gonna bend out these two edges in order for the radio to fit flush in this particular car. It will not affect anything, and they don't really do anything. So this is the right hand bracket, same with the left hand bracket. I'm gonna do that, and now we're gonna install them on our Android stereo, and we're gonna show you how to do that. So we're gonna take our Android stereo, we're gonna take our right hand bracket, and we're gonna put it on the stereo. So here you're gonna actually use 3 screws, not 4 like the original stereo. So simply gonna line up the holes. We moved kind of bent these out in order for the bracket to move a little closer for the pre-drilled holes. You don't have to really over tighten them, just tighten them. And the fourth one, the one that's supposed to go here, you can just put on the original stereo, so you kind of don't lose it. So now we're gonna do the same thing for the left hand side. Same thing, we're gonna line up the bracket with the 3 holes. and we're gonna use the original bolts from the original radio. So this is the USBs that are gonna go into our glove box. So we're gonna have to bring this cable, which plugs into our Android stereo, to the same place as the original connections. So we're gonna open the glove box and we're gonna feed the cable through, and we're gonna catch it on the inside while the radio is removed. So it's very easy to do, just like that. And now you have this connection here. So now we're gonna put the USB cables there and just close the glove box for now, and then we're gonna show you how to connect it. So now we're gonna take the harness that comes with our stereo and we're gonna plug it in to the original connections here. So everything is plug and play. So you're gonna match the connections that you removed from the original stereo and plug them into our harness. Some of the original connections will be left unplugged, and that's fine. You can just ignore that. So you have to match all the ones that are actually matching. There's also the antenna. You're gonna connect it to the antenna plug, just like that, and then you're gonna connect the antenna to the radio. We're gonna show you every single one. So now we're gonna show you how to install both the microphone and GPS antenna over here in the top corner. So over here, once we open the door, we're gonna use our panel removal tool, and we're gonna get inside of the edge here and remove this panel, and it just comes out. Now we're gonna use our Phillips screwdriver. We're gonna remove this one screw here. Once we remove the screw, we're gonna again take our panel removal tool and drop this panel down. This way we can feed the cables. Next step would be to take again the same tool, and we're gonna peel back the weather stripping. That's in order to hide the wires behind it. Just like that. And we're gonna get it up until this point, and we're also gonna kind of pop this panel out right here. So we're gonna take both our microphone and GPS antenna, and we're gonna feed them here underneath this panel, and we're gonna bring them up to the top corner. Then we're gonna use the double-sided tape to sticker them to the windshield. But at this point, you're gonna take the two cables and you're gonna start running them down. So this way they're hidden. So on this piece you can just tuck it in. So these two cables we're gonna wrap around this metal piece and feed them all the way through, just like that. And at this point we're gonna continue from the inside. So we have the two cables on the inside. This panel here, it came off as a solid piece, but if yours is still attached here, when you get to this point, you just simply bring it down. It's also just held on clips. So we're gonna take our two cables and we're gonna put them behind this metal bracket, and we're gonna reach inside and we're gonna catch these cables on the inside, and we're gonna pull them all the way through and to the back. So as you can see, they're quite long, so you can use one of the cable ties that came for these cables and make it nice and neat, and about this length, so you have enough length to connect it to the back of the stereo. And at this point we're gonna put this panel back, just clip it in and put the screw in. As you can see, everything is hidden. So now we have our Android stereo, and now we're gonna start connecting all the connections to the back of it. It also comes with this antenna, which you're gonna connect on the side which is closer to the passenger. Just simply screws on. We're gonna take our GPS, do the same thing. So the unit comes with extra connections for the subwoofer and so on, but we're not gonna be installing it in this particular car. And also you're able to connect the rear view camera and so on, but it's a similar thing. They just plug and play at the back of the unit. So this is the microphone, and it plugs in right here. So now we're gonna take the antenna, plug it in on the left side, and the main harness for the power. Make sure it clicks. Also, there's the cable for the USBs right here. One of the open ports, so there's only one place where it can plug in. And at this point, we're gonna start putting the radio back into the car. So at this point, you gotta make sure that there's no connections in the way for the radio to go in. And it simply will line up, and you're gonna use your original 10mm bolts, and we're gonna screw this radio inside. So now that the 4 bolts are installed, we're gonna put in this panel that goes around the radio, and it'll simply clip in. And now we're just gonna test to make sure that everything is working. So now we're gonna go ahead and test the radio, and we're gonna turn on the accessory position. So the first time you're gonna turn it on, it's gonna take a little longer to load. But we already tested the radio to make sure everything is working. So one of the first things you're gonna do is pair the stereo to a personal Wi-Fi hotspot or just regular Wi-Fi. After that, you're able to go and sign into the Play Store, Spotify. You're also gonna go and pair to the Bluetooth music, and you can go to the radio to adjust your presets for your favorite stations. And you gotta make sure that everything is working in terms of the volume. You can go into equalizer and adjust how the stereo is playing on your particular car. And for more information on how to use the stereo, we have a separate video. This is just a basic installation and overview. And again, I hope you liked our video, and we'll see you next time.